What's up, guys? Jamie here, and Raz and I are going to do a WrestleMania review. It's kind of too late to do an in-depth review, but we're going to touch on the really important parts as well as just overall discuss some broad things that happened in each match. And I have three guests apparently. Wanda, my cat over here, and would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up, everybody? RazMansReality, and this is actually going to be part one. So, if anybody's watching this live and isn't busy, as soon as we get done here, in about 10 minutes after I set up, we're going to do part two on who we think should move in the Superstar Shakeup.
Which I'm going to on Monday. I'm going to the Superstar Shakeup, so I won't be tweeting live. I'll just be posting some pictures. So that's why I won't be tweeting at all, except minus some pictures and thoughts here and there of some of my favorite parts. If I remember to post anything, I'll post like of when I'm in the ring or like in front of the ring and like where my seats are. Oh, our other guest just left, but yeah. Part two, RazMansReality's channel will be down below. But anything else?
No. I'm excited to talk about this show because this was an interesting show. Let's put it that way.
Yes. So I just wanted to say that it was a good show. I've seen like mixed reactions. I've kind of seen the same thing I've seen though, that it was a weird WrestleMania. Like it was good, but the booking was all over the place, but yet it was not good, but it was just really weird. So like so that's how I feel too, that WrestleMania was like certain things was really good. Other things made no sense. But I felt not just the booking wise, Raz and I were discussing this before, but I feel like this WrestleMania was it just had a really weird vibe to it.
It did have it felt like weird going into it. It felt weird, and then when the actual show happened, it was really weird. So
I don't know. I've never really felt like that about WrestleMania. Like going into WrestleMania, any WrestleMania, going, oh man, this feels really weird. But like it just felt really weird for some reason. I don't know
yeah,
why. I've seen that across the board. I've seen people say that. So it's not just us.
there were very good, very memorable moments, but there were a lot of moments where I was like, "What is this?" And that I can't remember that really happening since the streak ended, where people were just like,
That even wasn't weird. It was just shocking. But for some reason, this
"Yeah,
time, it's really weird. I don't know why. But
yeah,
you
yeah."
can keep talking. What your booking wise or anything you want to plug? I'm gonna try to get
Well,
people.
I think I will say that this, as she gets the link out, I will say that WWE, I think, really tried with WrestleMania to be unpredictable. And I think that's why it felt so weird in places. Because some of the unpredictability was good. Like Charlotte beating Asuka, that was a good unpredictable that we didn't see coming. But then, hi everybody
We're
on,
live.
on other
All right, go ahead,
Instagram.
continue.
But yeah, Charlotte versus Asuka was a good kind of weird. Like, because that unpredictability was good. But then there was other pieces of unpredictability, like Braun Strowman and Nicolas, that was like, okay, this is just, I don't get this at all. And now, in retrospect, after what happened on Raw, you can say, okay, they just tore down the tag team division to build it back up with new teams. But at the time, you didn't know that. So it just felt very weird. And there were a lot of things on this pay per view that just felt, I think our friend Alex, the X-Men, said off in one of his tweets.
Yeah.
That's a good word for this.
Yeah, see what I mean? It's not just us saying it. There's something really off about this WrestleMania. Not even necessarily for booking or necessarily that it was bad. It's just I don't know. I guess maybe the atmosphere for some reason. It was just really a really strange.
I do like the WrestleMania set though. It was a great set this year with the way
Well, it was good. It's just I don't know why it felt so weird. I don't know.
they did the cursive lettering on the WrestleMania sign. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I don't really know why it just felt that way for some reason. But anyways, getting on to it. We're not going to go one by one, but kind of the big matches, Ronda, Undertaker, even though we hate them and all of it, we'll get into that later. Brock and Roman Reigns, like there's just certain things.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Go ahead.
the stuff that's still irrelevant to talk about is basically what we're going to be talking about. They're still relevant.
So overall, like the matches that weren't considered big, I felt like stole the show more than anything. I mean, the big matches lived up to its hype. Like
they did. I don't want to. This is your part, so I don't want to take control or anything. But I think the biggest surprise for me of the whole night, even more than Charlotte beating Asuka, was how freaking good Ronda Rousey was. That match, to me, is the one that stole the show.
All right. Well, you just interrupted me, like mid-sentence.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't even hear you because I was talking, I guess. I'm sorry about that.
I was talking and you were quiet. Anyways, I don't even remember what I was saying. I have no idea. I don't remember what I was saying. Anyways, if you can hear that, my cat's in the background. Rawr, she thought it was good too. Yeah, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I remember. So like I was saying, like I think most of the matches that were good. I mean, there was a lot of good matches, but I think a lot of the what weren't considered main event matches or like more mid card matches were actually pretty good. Besides like Shinsuke and AJ and Ronda's match, the opening segment was very good.
The opening segment was great. The whole package that they played really got you hyped up. I felt bad for those girls though that were singing "America the Beautiful." I felt bad for them.
Yeah, they got booed
because the crowd was all over them.
WrestleMania can be very mean.
Were you surprised that the card started with the Intercontinental title match, or do you think that was a good?
I don't think I was necessarily surprised, but like if this isn't probably not going to make any sense. But I don't think necessarily that I was surprised as much as I was like, oh, like happy. Like I was like, I don't really know how to explain it. I don't think I was necessarily surprised that they started off, but I didn't expect them to start that off with that match, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying, and I feel the same way, because on paper, to me, that was one of the bigger matches, but we always talk about how you have to book a show hot to keep the crowd into it right from the very beginning, so I thought that was actually really smart, because you have your three best workers, arguably, on the card.
Did you get a notification?
The opening match.
By the way, sorry.
No, you're fine. But yeah, I'm not surprised Seth won. I think it was a coin flip between Seth and them, like we were saying. So I'm excited to see where they go with the IC title. What do you think about Finn's entrance? I'm sure you have a lot to say about his entrance.
What was I gonna say? Like about what I kind of wanted him, and I was expecting him to come out almost as the Demon King, but I do really like that what he was wearing. I think I'm a big supporter. I know some people are having an absolute fit over it. Whatever, don't buy it. But I like the LGBT support from his shirt.
No, yeah, I like it too.
It fits what he always says all the time. Forever, over and forever. Yeah,
I mean, I thought it was perfect, and people want to read too much into it and be negative because of their own opinions. That's all well and good, but that's what WrestleMania is about having a place for everybody. So I actually really enjoyed it. And Seth Rollins as a White Walker from Game of Thrones, that was awesome. For a Game of Thrones fan, that was amazing.
I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I didn't know what he was dressed up as.
There were a lot of people happy with that on social media though.
I like when they dress up as things. I think it's great. Like with Undertaker and the zombies. I'm like that was not that The Walking Dead's not big now, but that was when Walking Dead was like really, really hot. I mean, so popular, it was getting more it was more watched than the NFL. Like it was just
yeah.
that big. So I feel like that was a reference to like Walking Dead. But it just fits his persona. And if you hear my family coming in, my brother just got home from his track meet. So if you hear all the ruckus and noise, that's what that's from. But
All right, but like overall impressions of that opening match, I thought it was great, and I thought the finish was great, and I think that all three of those guys are they're amazing workers.
and can I just say I love the fact that um what's it called? Finn and Seth have been hanging around together. I love it. I love the thing is with this match, like I didn't want Miz to lose either, but then I was like, well, I like Miz. He's a good worker. He's a great heel. He's so good on the mic. I could listen to him for days. And then at the same time, I was like, well, I want Seth to win, but I want like Finn to win, but I love both of them. So it was great overall. And I think every match there wasn't really a throwaway match. Like you had to stay for all of it, although some of the booking might have been.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of
like the real main event was like AJ Styles versus Shinsuke. It was like Taker. It was really the mid card stuff that was what deserved to be the mid.
No, yeah, especially with the ending of WrestleMania. But
and then Daniel Bryan, like that was deserving.
Yeah,
Daniel Bryan did freaking great.
He was amazing, and he still was amazing on SmackDown last night. I mean, it was just great. But
oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, should we jump over since we talked about a good thing?
Yeah, let's jump into what we're gonna say right now. So let's just start off with. Oh my gosh, there's so many good things to jump into. I don't even know what to start off with first. I guess you're right. We could start off with probably what you're gonna say, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Let's start off with the bad because everything else I'm about to read are all big points and are all great because we're about to go over Undertaker, Ronda Rousey, Shinsuke's match, and that was like the best stuff on the card. So you want to go over?
Well, I don't mind Lesnar winning because it was an unpredictable thing, but I mind Lesnar winning.
In that sense, it was okay, but overall. Yeah.
But I mind him winning because it's been a whole year of building up to Roman Reigns winning, and it basically made him beating Undertaker last year. And I'm not saying this because of who's in the video with me. I'm being truthful. It made him losing to Undertaker last year completely pointless and unnecessary and unfair because the whole point was to make him look strong, and then you have him lose on the biggest show of the year. Now, there are rumors that Vince McMahon called audible because he saw Roman Reigns wasn't getting over, and that's why there's a steel cage rematch.
But that's not that is, sorry to interrupt you. That is not you, because you're smart. But that is not a reason to have him lose.
No.
Like, if you're not the Roman, you don't at WrestleMania. It would have been different if it wasn't. It was just a normal pay-per-view, not WrestleMania. It would be one thing if it was like Extreme Rules or something, but like WrestleMania. Come on.
Right, exactly. That's exactly how I feel about it. I mean, you don't lose at WrestleMania after a year long build. The booking, the feel of the match itself was really cool because you don't see guys bleed a lot, and Roman, was brutalized in the match. But him kicking out of what was it, like 5 F5s or 7 or something like that? It was a ridiculous amount that he kicked out of the F5 after the F5 is supposed to be this unbeatable move that nobody kicks out of. And the thing is, it didn't change the crowd's opinion. That's what's so frustrating. Is it didn't change. The crowd was supposed to go, oh my God, Roman Reigns is overcoming Brock Lesnar. You didn't get that reaction. You didn't get that reaction because nobody wants to be behind Roman Reigns. And that's what's so frustrating to me.
So about this match, like it was great with blood, but you almost couldn't enjoy the blood because you were just frustrated by those two and the booking. And we're not one to complain. Like, we only really come on in here and go, oh, well, it wasn't that bad. It's just, the booking was a little shaky. Well, like, we're on here coming to you that we didn't like it. So please, there are going to be people on there that are going to say, oh, but you're complaining or blah, blah, blah. But no, like, it was
No,
it was annoying.
yeah.
Like that took away the whole. I couldn't even really enjoy it. Like, I saw blood and I was like, awesome. And I don't like Roman Reigns, so I was like, yeah, Roman Reigns is getting beaten to a bloody pulp. But then I was like, wait, I don't like Brock Lesnar either. So, and just the overall atmosphere of the match, I was just like, nope, nope, nope. And like, I'm happy. I don't know, like, I like it in the sense that it was unpredictable that Lesnar won, but then I'm also really mad that he won because Roman Reigns, I don't even like Roman Reigns. And I wanted Roman Reigns to win because that's what it made sense. And now you decide, oh, well, he's not getting over, so I'm going to pull the ending to the match at the last minute.
Right.
I'm
And
glad
then
you're coming to your senses, but not the day before or at WrestleMania. And, like, give it to somebody else. Nobody wants him to.
yeah, I mean, nothing about it makes sense, especially with them having a rematch so quickly in Saudi Arabia in a steel cage. Like, there's
And then
nothing.
if Roman Reigns wins, I mean, it'd be better than Brock Lesnar. Anybody would be better than Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but it's not going to make any sense because Saudi Arabia is in like 3 weeks. Why don't
yes,
you have him win at WrestleMania?
yes, exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say. If you have him go over in Saudi Arabia, why did you not have him go over at WrestleMania? WrestleMania is your Super Bowl. You just made your Super Bowl look weak by doing
Yeah,
that.
and both of them, like you were saying, were built up so strong. I'm not going to get into other things with Brock Lesnar because we'll get into intention, and that's a whole video. But
Oh
like,
yeah,
you
completely.
built them up to be the most dominant people. You even built it around like, oh, they beat Undertaker, and then you built up Roman Reigns, shove him down our throats, and Roman Reigns still doesn't win. Like, he could have still won. Then you could have had then if you if you thought Roman Reigns didn't work, give it to somebody else. But that's the problem when you build up someone so strong because both of them have to remain strong all the time, and it's impossible to not lose. You know what I
And,
mean? I mean, that's a whole nother video. But
we talked about this before the video started about that. It's been the whole problem with Brock Lesnar since all the way back 2 WrestleManias ago at 30 when he beat the streak. Because the minute you beat the streak, you have to be an unstoppable force. But eventually in wrestling, you have to lose. And that's the whole issue with Brock Lesnar.
so leading on to that, or I'm gonna save my person for the end of the video. But getting on to that more happy note, Ronda Rousey. Can we just say how fantastic she is in the ring? Not just saying that. I'm not a UFC fan. I'm not a fan of Ronda. I just love the fact that she's a wrestling fan and she shows it in her UFC stuff. And I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon, but I'm more biased towards her because she's a wrestling fan. Um, but she actually was really good for someone who came from UFC. She did extremely well. Like, you have guys that have been and girls been training for years. She steps foot in the ring and like she's had only how much of training. Usually some people can't adapt to certain things when they switch over just no matter what it is. But the match was really good. Really good. It was better than the main event. It was on top with some of the big matches that we've had. And I think people coming off of this match weren't really expecting that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it to me is the match of the night, bar none. And it was because Ronda Rousey exceeded every single. If I had any expectation at all, Ronda Rousey went
Even
and
the
shot it up to the
Oh,
moon.
sorry, Raz. Sorry.
You're all right. You're all right.
I don't want to interrupt you. Like, we got on a good roll right now where we're not interrupting each other. But I just wanted to say Like even the most critical wrestling fan, the critics out there even were praising her. Like, not this is not blasting Alex or anything, but Deluxeman, like he has very strong opinions and like he has really good opinions too. And he even was like, "Wow, she surpassed my expectations." Like that was just like the general consensus of this.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
that just because everyone says it makes it true, but it was good overall. Continue your thoughts, Raz.
no, I was just you're fine, and now we're even for earlier when I accidentally did that to you, but um, I was just saying that I don't know what you would call it going into this match, but there was almost no expectation because we never seen Ronda before, and then she gets in the ring and does this, and it's
The
just
first
like
match.
wow, it's just like wow, yeah.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's I was so into it, and I will say that other than Becky Lynch, I've never really wanted to buy a women's shirt before. I want to buy some Ronda Rousey gear right now. Like I feel so good about her and her character
I
and
can't wait
where
to
she's at. You know,
see her live. I cannot wait to see her live. And I'm not into UFC at all. Didn't care for her in there. I just liked the fact that she was a wrestling fan and only wanted to know anything to do with her when it came to wrestling. So, and like
yeah,
that time she was with The Rock, like wasn't into her. But as soon as she came here full time, and as soon as she did all that, I'm like hooked on her. Hooked on her.
absolutely.
I love her, and she's such a nice person. She's so nice, so nice. She took the time. Not that the other guys aren't and girls aren't doing that. She took the time at WrestleMania. You know how many people there are in the front row alone? She went all around and gave everyone a high five. Did that at Raw too. Like she's such a good person. And
So many pictures of but people got pictures with her at Access and things
she
like
stayed
that.
there.
So
Every single fan. Every single, not saying that other guys and girls don't do that, because most guys and girls there are the best people on earth. Such a good person, such a good wrestler. You know what I mean? Like she had such a good match. I know what you're saying, like, oh, about expectation, like there was no expectations, but I think she had the pressure of it being her first match. Like not everyone's first match is great, but I think the pressure was because of where she was coming from and like who she is, that she almost has to put on a good match. And if she wasn't a good wrestler, she would hear it like, oh, she wasn't able to transition. The pressure was, can she transition from UFC to WWE and able to wrestle? And she can.
yeah, absolutely. And her storytelling was what was most impressive because there is no storytelling in a UFC fight. It's just, the bell rings and you go in there and beat somebody down. But Ron told a great story with Stephanie, and she knew how to build it up over time so that when she put that Fujiwara armbar on her at the end and kayfabe broke her arm, like the crowd was piping hot for that. They were like boiling hot for that, and that's so much credit to her.
Yeah,
She she
exactly.
just she deserves all the credit in the world, and it's so good that you almost forget that Kurt Angle's return was in the match too,
Yeah,
because you almost
that's what also
yeah
made it great. Like Kurt Angle was wrestling. It was a first for everybody except for Triple H. Stephanie's first. Like I know people are like, well, she's done this before, but like first actual being physical in the match on a scale like that. I don't mean taking a bump or like saying she's gonna be in a match. She's never actually been in a match before like that on that scale. So it was her first. It was Kurt Angle's first time wrestling in WWE after 12 years, and it was Ronda Rousey's first time wrestling in a wrestling ring. Period. So it was a lot of firsts, except for Triple H. But this is kind of random too. But you know what this WrestleMania really was too, like more of a showcase for the newer wrestlers and for like guys that came over. Did you notice that? I don't know, maybe if that was why.
Yeah, no, I do feel
Like
like
it was
that.
a lot of the, I think because a lot of the bigger guys weren't in the limelight, it felt a little weird. Like you have, I mean, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar were, but the normal guys and girls that are there weren't like main events per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was very much a changing of the card, and maybe I didn't really think about it, but maybe that it does contribute to the weirdness factor of WrestleMania because of that. Because it very much was your stars are now AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Daniel Bryan, as opposed to
Taker, Cena.
yeah.
So, but even besides that, WrestleMania just felt weird.
It did,
I
it
don't know
did.
how you want to interpret weird. Weird can
I
be a good
I
thing and a bad thing. Go ahead.
you know, hindsight being 2020, I understand what they were doing now. We have to talk about the whole Braun Strowman and Nicolas thing.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, we touch on that. So I we were all wondering, oh my gosh, like who is his opponent gonna not his opponent, but like his partner going to be? Who is he going to be with? Like we were thinking all these names, and then all of a sudden, like I was like, don't tell me it's gonna be himself. But then he like went into the crowd, and you never see like Ron on that level of kind of like a face because he's normally destroying stuff. So, and then when he went out to the crowd, I'm like, he's not really going to choose somebody, is he? Or if he is, it's not going to be like an actual fan. Because he was like, who wants to be with me? I'm like, there's no way they can just pick someone and throw them in the ring. Like they've had fans come on to the stage, but not like that. So like they chose some kid, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way. There's no way. I don't know. I felt like it was, even though it was someone's kid who works for WWE. It was so it was a nice thing to do. It was really, even if my dad worked for WWE, like when are you ever gonna get a chance like that? So
Right. Yeah. No, I mean,
that was great, but I don't. It was just weird. It was
it
weird.
was it was it was weird. And the only thing I can think of is now that we've seen what went down on Raw after Mania, is that the whole point was to tear down the Raw Tag Team division and rebuild it back up. Which, in hindsight, that's the perfect way to do it, because you have champions who can't be champions, and you're hitting a big reset button. But the idea of a fan being a tag team champion and that fan being a 10-year-old kid, it's just the weirdest thing to even say.
Some people were mad about it, but like some kid, it's not for real. Like, did you really think he was gonna be the champion? It was funny, and
Yeah, because
also like it was only gonna be for that moment. After that, he wasn't going to be the champion, and
yeah,
I mean, it was really weird, but at the same time, like at least they didn't just throw somebody in there and then like they would have had to either been an actual tag team, which probably would be quite random whoever came in, or they would have to break up. So it'd be like, what would be the point? So I guess like at least what you said, resetting it. Anyway, let's get on to other stuff. Shinsuke versus AJ. First of all,
okay,
it was great. Um, I thought it would be a little longer. I'm not saying it was bad or anything because it was great, but I kind of was expecting more, if that makes any sense. Not that it wasn't good, it was great, by the way.
it
And then
was
the ending just put that was the icing on the cake. Like, I don't know if you want me to mention it, but like
no, yeah, I was just making sure you were. No.
Shinsuke turned heel. That is such, oh my god, that is perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. And it like Raz and I were discussing like right after, like it makes Shinsuke still a, like like AJ didn't have to lose his title, but Shinsuke didn't have to be weak because now he's a heel and he has things to do. And they can
yeah,
always do more.
there are
They can
reasons.
always do more with each other. But go ahead.
There are reasons for them to continue to feud, and that's exactly why he turned someone heel. So it's not something that anyone expected to have happen, but I think it was a brilliant choice because it makes both guys look strong. I do agree with you though that we were all expecting, and our Wanda has rejoined us, but
Yeah.
we
crying and scratching at the door. So
of course she was because she's a star. But sorry, I love Wanda. She's fantastic. She's my favorite person. But anyway, what was I?
yeah.
As I was saying, like it's not what we expected because we all expected it to be, a 5-star match. But this now is like chapter 1 in a rivalry. Like we're getting an actual rivalry between Shinsuke and AJ, and I think that's brilliant. I think it's absolutely.
We're not
brilliant.
saying it's not it wasn't a great match because it was really good, and that honestly stole the show too. That is, if I had to,
for sure.
That definitely deserves to be a a main event. And even though I expected more, it still was fantastic.
No, absolutely.
That doesn't mean if you hear crying or the door opening and closing or me leaving, that's why, because she either wants to leave or enter, but I don't want the door wide open because then my family will think, oh, it's okay to come in here and I'm filming. I usually do that when I need to not be interrupted. This one doesn't want the door closed.
Right. She just wants to be where the action is, and she knows where the action is. But yeah, I mean, you pretty much said everything I would have said about it. I think I loved it. I mean, it was so unexpected because let's close with this.
He agrees with you.
Hi, baby. Hi to you. But it was so unexpected because Shinsuke's never been heel, to my knowledge. Now, longer New Japan fans, they can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, Shinsuke was never heel in New Japan, and that was his other major organization. So this is like a first for him to be a heel, and he's already being brilliant at it. Like he's being cocky, arrogant, like I don't give a crap about you, like making fun of Renee Young on SmackDown. I mean, he's already being fantastic at it.
It's really funny, and everybody was like, no English, right? He was like, no English.
Yeah, no speak of English. I mean, so yeah, I love it, and I love we got the extra added wrinkle now of, and we stuffed up his Mania match, which we might lead into now, but we had the extra added wrinkle of Daniel Bryan possibly in the feud and making it a triple threat feud.
Oh my gosh! Which is just, the three of them together. May I say what I really like too is like, actually I'll discuss this part in your video, but I like who everyone's hanging out with pretty much. Just like like Finn, Seth, Jeff. Even we'll get that to that in your video, but like just everyone who's together.
Yeah, no, I mean
Daniel Bryan. AJ, like we'll get to that later. But anyway, let's go on so we don't talk for another. Unless you wanted to say something.
No, I was just saying that is what it feels like. It feels like the new direction now is coming out of WrestleMania is almost more exciting than what WrestleMania itself was. It's one of those years.
So, I guess we'll just say about Charlotte and Asuka real quick, because that was another.
That was a complete surprise.
The stuff that wasn't supposed to be in the main event were really good in what it should have been the main event.
Yeah, I mean that's the best women's match I've ever seen on the main roster. Period, bar none. And it felt like a main event. It was treated like a main event, and it had an ending. Nobody saw that coming. I don't know one person. I didn't see one video, one piece of news where somebody said the Asuka streak is ending. So when it happened, it was like you couldn't get mad about it because it's Charlotte. If it had been anybody else, even my girl Becky Lynch, I would have been like, wait. But because it's Charlotte and she has that stigma of she has been the face of the women's division, it felt right for her to win it. But then,
wait. Can I just say something real quick? Like, I mean, I kind of wasn't expecting that, and I kind of didn't like it in a way, but I was like, well, at least it's Charlotte. And I know that's what you were saying. But I think you were gonna touch on saying like I know there are people that weren't happy. However, just think, would you rather it have been Charlotte to win, then get cashed in on Carmella, or have Asuka lose the streak and the title because Carmella cashed in? So obviously she was more at that point for a transitional champion, so Asuka didn't have to take that. I mean, either way, like she would have lost then, but it's better than to lose to Charlotte than to lose on that instant like Charlotte did.
Right. And that's exactly what I was going to say, because Carmella didn't move to Raw, which is what myself and you and a lot of people thought, and she is SmackDown Women's Champion now. That's exactly why they did it. They did it to avoid Asuka looking weaker than what she could have done overall. So, I'm a fan of the way it turned out in the match itself. Like I said, other than the stuff between Sasha and Bayley in NXT, and the stuff between Asuka and Bayley in NXT is probably the best women's match. Well, and then Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks as well. But taking NXT stuff out of the equation, this was the best women's match I've ever seen in WWE.
It was great.
It was fantastic.
Let's move on to my favorite part. I don't know if you heard that. Did you hear the meow? Did you hear that? That was Ronda. She can't wait to get.
Oh. Let's before you move on to Undertaker, though, let's just quickly say Jinder Mahal as United States champion and feuding with Randy Orton.
But I didn't say Undertaker yet. Why would you? Shh.
Oh, sorry.
What's the matter?
One that's mad at me for jumping.
Ready? Go ahead. Thoughts.
What are your thoughts, Juan?
What are your thoughts, Juan? Say it again. Ready? Go ahead.
Tell us again. What happened? Tell us what happened.
Ready?
So, Juan, why is Jinder Mahal United States champion, and why is he feuding with Randy Orton?
Not me. Tell them.
Tell us, baby. Why are they doing that? Because it was a stupid feud last year, and it shouldn't be happening again.
Well, one that said "route," so whatever that.
Well, I'm not sure. I think "route" means yes. I agree.
Okay. So my favorite part, Undertaker. So like I've never seen John Cena fly so fast up anything in his life. Never seen anyone run that fast before.
Well, back just a little bit.
Hold on. I've never seen anyone run that fast before. And then that's what I was freaking out about. I filmed my reaction, but that'll go up Saturday. And I've never seen somebody run that fast before. And then Dana came out. And then we got Elias. And I was like, what the heck? I'm like, are they really going to I almost had doubts myself. I'm like, all for that. And we're going to get, not that I don't love Elias. And we're going to get that instead. I'm like, there's no way that you can do that. There's no way. And then when Cena was going the other way, you and I, especially, you're like, wrong way, go back that way. And then the gong hit. And okay, can we just say, I love the way they did that. With his stuff in the middle of the ring, then the lightning, then it was gone. And then the gong, and then Undertaker came out. And then his entrance, and Cena looked like he was crapping his pants. And he was frozen. And then what was really weird, though, was that the match was 2 minutes and so many seconds. And I was just very thinking, not I was happy to see him, but I thought well, a match like this should go a long time. But then I was like, well, I don't know if a match that long, this spontaneous without a build would really work for that. And then I was thinking well, this can't be it. So I was feeling all sorts of emotions during that. What are your?
Well, before you went straight to the actual ending build, but I have to backtrack and say the setup throughout the whole night was the funniest, most brilliant thing I've ever seen. John Cena in the crowd with the fans taking the pictures. Like, he really had a good time, and he sold it really well. Like, maybe the match isn't happening. Like, because you're just seeing John Cena, being a complete goof, for the first few hours of the show. And I don't know about you, but that just made me laugh so much, completely. And then the referee, like you were saying, the referee goes up to him and says, "Undertaker's here," and he just like, "Phew."
Runs. He flies up the ring. And also, I know I kind of say this every time that he looks so good. Like my last reaction for this year, Raw 25, which he looked really healthy. Like, I'm not lying to you. I'm not just saying that every time I see him. He genuinely looked really healthy this year, especially at this WrestleMania. Last year, he was not good at all. He was limping, and he winced in pain at last year's Royal Rumble. Granted, he got surgery, so that's probably why he's healthier, but like he looked really healthy.
He
Even if he
did.
wrestled for 2 minutes, like
He did, and I think the whole. I agree with you that I was expecting way more, but the 2 to 3 minute mark for the match I think was also very smart because of the promos that Cena was cutting. If we're not going to get American Badass Undertaker, then that's the best thing that man can do. Just go in there and kick your beer in. You get literally no offense, and the match is over. And it opens the door, and I'm sure you're ready to go off on this because we've been talking about it all week. It opens the door for more. We both believe that there probably is going to be another match at WrestleMania 35 that's going to feel like what we expected this match to
that's
be.
what we were saying. Like something like this has to have a really big build. And I think this was more of a reply than a match. Some people were disappointed, but like I didn't really. Like, did you? We really, in a way, like I understand. Like some people, in a way, why you might have thought it was pointless. But I feel like they always think of something, Sometimes something isn't for nothing. Like that I think was more towards to build something because there can't that just can't be it. And also it kind of wouldn't make sense in a way to go through all that and then they just have like a 45-minute match, you know what I mean? That kind of
Right.
wouldn't make any sense either. And then it would be great to see him come back as American Badass. But I think the way they did it at the beginning with the lights, with the stuff in the middle of the ring and then it gone, that kind of indicated like he's back and he put on the stuff. So that kind of like for him, you know what I'm trying to say, for him to go and wrestle since he took
Right.
it off. Um, I mean, of course, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it American Badass, but if that didn't happen, then it probably would be built towards someone else. I was a little disappointed that it was that long, but I also understand why it was that long, and I understand why he is dead man. But like always, Undertaker's not gonna just come out and be like, "Yes, I'm wrestling, John," or like he's gonna be Undertaker and beat you up as his reply, and he's gonna
Right.
script
And but
it. So
no, yeah, this was absolutely the best way to do it, especially if we're right and we are getting a WrestleMania 35 match. I think if there is a WrestleMania 35 match, that it should be not career versus career because we all know where it's going. But John Cena saying, "Undertaker, I wasn't ready for you. There's nothing else I have left to do. Let's make our last match against each other, and let's give people a classic that they'll never forget." That's what I think should happen at WrestleMania 35. And I know you agree because I've talked to you about it all week.
yes,
You
yes, and
know,
I think that even if they started in January, February, March, 3 months is not really a lot to build a match of this magnitude up. So I enjoyed seeing him, and that was great. And I filmed my reaction, so that'll be
yeah,
down in the
it
description.
was, it was funny because you had just gone, or you don't want me to divulge that, but you had just gone to do something else. I won't say what it was, but you had just like left the room and were trying to like multitask, and then that match happened. You're like, "Oh,"
Well, what would I be hiding? It was on a Sunday. It was on a Sunday night when The Walking Dead was on. I went downstairs
oh,
to go watch that hour of of what's it called, The Walking Dead, and I had my laptop on my lap, so like I could just look down. And then I was like, oh no, Undertaker is coming on. So I flew up the stairs, sat down, then all of a sudden it was over. And I was like, And then I came back down and my parents were like, aren't you gonna watch, weren't you supposed to watch Undertaker's match? And I was like, it's over. So
Yeah. Well, that's. I just wasn't sure if you wanted to divulge that or not for some reason. But anyway, it was really funny.
Walking Dead was on Sunday. There's no secret.
Yeah, it was really funny for me to see because I'm prepared. Okay, she's gonna be watching two things now and like responding slowly, and then all of a sudden, Undertaker came out. She's like,
flew upstairs.
Sorry about that. That was a lovely belch. But yeah, she just flew up the stairs. It was great. But I think that's it. I think that covers like all the main points, except for maybe Broken Bray Wyatt, which I really enjoyed, and I'm really looking forward to the future of that.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna go talk about the draft and some other things we're gonna touch on there too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it'll be on RazMansReality in like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, however long Google decides to work.
Yeah, setting up. Touch on like some stuff that happened on Raw too. And
yeah, it's gonna be. We're basically gonna do like a WrestleMania week recap.
Oh wait, how could we forget Daniel Bryan? We touched on it a little bit.
Oh my gosh, we almost left this video without talking about Daniel Bryan's match.
Where it stands. First time coming back, and he was fantastic. The match was fantastic. So.
And a lot of people were frustrated at the booking, but again, I love the booking here because having Daniel Bryan taken out at the beginning, just build and build and build that anticipation, and he just came in and cleaned house. I think
I'm annoyed at that first, but I'm like, obviously they're doing it for a reason. But like, back. So there's a lot of other times where he'll be wrestling, like he wrestled on Tuesday. So
right, and who he wrestled against, like but again, we'll get into that over on my channel. But I just thought it was great. Everything about it was great, and it was such a goosebumpy moment. Like I'm sitting there. Jamie knows like what my situation is and how I have to get prepared to lay down at night. So my mom walks in to start me on that process, and she sees me going like that and doing that. She has no idea what we do as wrestling fans. So her response was, "What in the world are you doing?" So that alone even added to it for me. I mean, it was so enjoyable. It was so much emotion. I got goosebumps. I choked up. I mean, wrestling is the best thing ever because it is the only thing out there that can make you feel like that. Happy, sad, angry, all in the span of 4 hours. There's nothing else anywhere that can make you do that.
Yep. All right. So comment down below on your thoughts on WrestleMania. I'm going to Raw, so I will be tweeting some pictures of my experience. And I'll do a video. I will do a video of all my pictures and videos that I took while I was there. Although in I just said where I live, but so it's gonna be. They're gonna say they're gonna say where it is. But on Monday, it's gonna be in the state that I live in, obviously. But like they're gonna say where it is. But what was I gonna say?
It's just
Well, anyways, no, I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna do a video of all the pictures and videos that I take. Although for some reason in that particular arena they don't allow cameras, and they also don't allow you to take videos. But I'm gonna sneak videos. Like screw that.
Of course,
unless they see this video. But
you're a master.
I'm going to do my experience video, so that'll be up afterwards. I'm gonna have to do that. And I know I said I'll put up. I know I said I'll put up other videos too of my experience, but this one definitely has to go up before anything. But yeah, I'm gonna do that, and we're gonna go to Raz's channel after this. So you should.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say to close out and be funny. I'm gonna probably have to watch the Hulu replay of Raw the next day because I'm gonna be more concerned looking at the crowd and trying to find you than I am what's going on screen. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.